Wow, Dave, the Good Samaritan. I mean, that is powerful teaching from Jesus.
Sure is.
I mean, it makes me think about this guy that I passed by on the way to work. I mean, he's homeless, and I'd walk past him. I mean, sometimes I'll nod, but I really wonder if Jesus wants me to help him in some way.
Well, hang on. You've got to step back a little bit, because there's a bigger theological point behind the whole thing. It's actually about Jesus having a go at the religious hypocrisy of the leaders at the time.
All right, so it's got nothing to do with this guy.
Well, you don't need to worry about it. I mean, you're always going to have the poor around you, okay? The point is the religious hypocrisy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for that, Dave.
There are some common mistakes that people make when they read the Bible, and by far the most common is under-observing, not taking the time to read what is actually there, to do the kind of thing we've been doing in this session, carefully noticing what the text is saying, how it's structured, what its key words and ideas are, and so on. This is often just a lack of curiosity, a lack of hunger for what God is saying in this particular passage. And this problem can particularly beset those of us who've been Christians for a while. We start to think that we know a fair bit and that we've got a pretty good idea of what's going to be said even before we start. We're like a detective who assumes he knows who committed the crime even before he does any investigating. And when we're in this slightly lazy mode of reading, we find it very easy to quickly skip past anything that is slightly difficult or puzzling or that we don't understand.
When you see the abomination that causes desolation standing where it does not belong, let the reader understand, then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains.
Hang on a sec, Dave. I'm sorry. I don't understand. What's going on here?
Well, it's deep stuff, isn't it? I mean, it's very profound, full of imagery and allusions and motifs, and it's all through that whole section. But now that we've kind of covered that, let's take it up at chapter 14. Now, the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread were only two.
This is the second common mistake in observing the text, to run away from problems. Problems or difficult verses or things we don't understand are our friend. When you read a passage and something stands out as odd or puzzling or hard to understand, it's like a beacon telling you that there is something here to learn. It's like the piece of evidence that the detective can't make sense of and keeps coming back to, knowing that if he figures this out, it'll crack the case. Well, in the same way, stopping to puzzle over a difficult word or verse will very often unlock the meaning of a passage. The third mistake that Bible readers often make when they are observing the text is to miss the little words, the connections, the logical links between one idea and the next. And this can be especially important when we're trying to follow a rather densely packed argument, like the passage in Romans 5 that you've just been looking at. In verses 8 and 9, the logical connective words are the key to understanding what Paul is saying. They show the vital connections between what has happened in the past, what is now true, and what therefore will happen in the future. And the logic is vital to understand. Christ died for us while we were still sinners. So therefore, if we are now completely justified or declared righteous by his blood, then how much more is it true that we will be saved from God's wrath in the future when it's revealed on the day of judgment? So don't miss the little words. Watch out for the little words.
Nor should there be obscenity, foolish talk, or coarse joking, which are out of place, but rather thanksgiving. I mean, that's got to make you think about swearing and bad language, doesn't it?
Well, not really. Actually, my version, which is a little bit more accurate, says, let there be no filthy talk or talk of filth. So really, what was known as, at the time at Ephesus, there was a well-known garbage strike. And so everyone in the whole city, all they kept talking about was garbage, 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 garbage. And so Paul is saying, no, get that out. So really, it's a specific issue for the Ephesians at the time. It's not really got a whole lot to do with us today.
The fourth and final trap I want to warn you about is the opposite of the first. It's to over-observe, to squeeze so much out of every word and syllable that you end up getting the passage to say something that it's not really saying at all. Like a detective who gets obsessed with one little bit of evidence and bases the whole case on it, while ignoring the fact that all the rest of the evidence points off in a different direction. In other words, be careful not to read things into the Bible. Don't impose your own hobby horses and ideas onto the passage. Don't speculate about what the author was really thinking but didn't actually say. And don't turn the passage into an allegory so that it ends up being about something else entirely. Just read what is there.